Welcome back, everyone. This is Rodney Smith with my Network Marketing and Business Fundamentals series. This video will be discussing Part 5, Personal Development. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump right on in and get started with this. Now, if you don't mind, allow me to make a little sports analogy here. We know athletes, the successful athletes, okay, and leaders in sports, regardless of whatever sport it is, football, hockey, fencing, horseback riding, gymnastics, it doesn't matter, okay? Regardless of the sport, these folks trained vigorously and religiously to achieve that level of performance, okay? Regardless of what it is, I don't care. They developed, okay, themselves. They spend hours in the gym. They spend hours with film. They, whatever, they watch what they ate, okay? Whatever it took, they developed themselves internally and externally to become that much better of an athlete. Okay, now obviously, this is not something that is just going to happen overnight, right? I mean, this is going to be a process that they go through. It's going to take time. However, they were committed to that and committed to developing themselves. A lot of folks don't know this. I hope they do, but some folks don't realize the number of hours that Jordan actually put in when he was to practicing basketball when he was a kid, okay, to get to the level that he was at. Or like even in high school, his coach actually cut him when he was a sophomore, cut him straight from the team. And I can tell you this, from what I've known and what I've read, that Jordan actually said that's probably the best thing that actually ever happened to him. Because why? He didn't go and just put his head between his legs, right, and put his tail between his legs and run off. He took that as constructive criticism and said, you know what, I do need to make myself better. And that's what he did. I mean, arguably probably one of, if not the best basketball player ever to have played the sport. Okay? But yet, very humbling to know, cut from the team, from the varsity team at that. But all he did, though, he just took the time and put in the hours, practice those 3-point shots, practice those layups, those free throws. He did what it took to develop himself. Look at somebody else, Lance Armstrong. In spite of his cancer, in spite of it, he still trained like a beast, okay, and dominated cycling. Now, I'm not a big cyclist fan, or I'd say I'm not a fan, but I'm not a follower, of cyclists. But I know this. Winning the Tour de France is not an easy feat. Winning it 7 times, phenomenal. That's a MasterCard moment. I don't care what anybody says. That is huge. And in spite of everything else, I mean, the man is just, it's incredible to know. Regardless of anything else, as far as cycling goes, the man was just insane. But why? Because he trained and developed himself to become that good. All right, one of my favorites. This girl is awesome, and I mean awesome. Me and him. I didn't realize this, but girl was born with a clubbed foot, a partially clubbed foot, and had to wear corrective shoes when she was a toddler. How do you go from being a kid with corrective shoes on, with a clubbed foot, to being arguably, regardless of gender, male or female, one of the best soccer players in the world? How do you do that? Because she had a drive and determination to say, you know what, I want to be better than what I am. And I'm going to develop this. I'm going to take a hold of it. I'm going to own this club foot. Right? And obviously her parents were there to support her as well. Okay? But she took ownership of it and said, I am going to be better. I'm not going to let this be, a handicap for me. I'm not going to let this be something that's going to hold me back and restrict me. I'm going to rise above it. And I'm going to do whatever it takes. Whatever the training is, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it happen. Okay? That's awesome. I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's a phenomenal thing to see that. To see somebody overcome such an obstacle as it relates to where they are now. Okay? And honestly, the same is true for the leaders in our industry. The same is true. Your Tim Atkinsons, your Mike Dillards, your Bernard McCargos, your Jonathan Budds, your Alpha Kings and Dagan Smiths, your Betty Mills, your Don and Gretchen Segrins, your Greg Davisons, your Jerry and Nancy Gunters, your Beth Henson Phillips. I mean, all these folks. The list, I mean, honestly, I mean, it could wrap around the planet. It's endless, okay? But what they did was phenomenal, okay, is that they took the time to develop themselves and become leaders in their respective industry. Okay, that's what they did. Personal development, that's what it boiled down to. Okay? Now, what they did, they read and practiced, right? Trial and error and read more. They implemented and read more. They listened to training tools and they read more. They listened to and read more training tools and implemented that, and yes, that's right, they read more. Okay, and I hope you get the picture here. I don't want, well, maybe I do want to beat a dead horse over the head here. Whatever it takes, folks, okay? Whatever it takes, better yourself. Okay, better yourself. I know we all have our own challenges. I know there are things out there that we don't want to do because it's out of our comfort zone. It makes us feel uncomfortable because we don't know how to do it. Maybe we haven't been taught the right way to do it. Maybe we just didn't want to learn how to do it. Whatever that obstacle is, okay, embrace it. That's all you need to do. Embrace it and own it. And I promise you this, you will get better. Okay? You will get better. And to be frank, don't expect to have huge success if you're not willing to improve yourself. Because here's the reason why. In order for you to grow, you're going to need to develop yourself. That's the bottom line. And I'm going to probably use that phrase over and over and over. And you might get tired of it, but that's okay. Repetition's good for a reason. Read, all right? Read a book, watch video, find somebody to mentor with, whatever it takes, okay? The skill sets that you have that are good ones, you need to sharpen and refine those, right, to take them to that next level. The skill sets that you have in that are your areas of opportunity that you struggle with, take a hold of those suckers, man. Take a hold of them and embrace them and make them that much better. Develop them, water them, fertilize them, help them grow, right? Water them with knowledge. Okay, that's what you need to do. Fertilize them with books and videos and tutorials. Make yourself that much better. That's the only way that you're really going to get ahead is by improving yourself. Don't expect to be a respected leader if you're not willing to grow and change for the better. Okay, because if you're not willing to be a student, I can guarantee you that you will never be a leader. All right, and I'll be the first to admit I'm not perfect, and none of us are. All right, we all have room to grow. And honestly, I mean, for me, one of my Achilles heels, it's hard for me to sit and read sometimes. And it's not necessarily just the subject matter, it's actually just the act of reading itself. And sometimes I can sit and read a page in a second. I can just go on for hours and hours, just right on through the book. And then other times, for some reason, it takes me hours just to get through one page. I don't know why. Okay? But that's just the way it is. I mean, reading is never... It hasn't always been an area for me that's been something that's easy. Okay? Every now and then, I get into spurts and I can just go through books, boom, 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 no problem. And then other times, I just hit a brick wall. I don't know why, but it is what it is. But I have to own that. Okay? And you need to own your obstacle as well. Okay? Own it. Embrace it. And change it. Okay, because I can tell you this, it's going to be amazing the fulfillment you're going to get when you get over that hurdle and you start to learn something new. And what's even better on top of that is when you actually put it into practice and the sucker works. It actually works. You're going to jump back with amazement. Okay, so when you start to hit that level of success, analyze it, right? Analyze your success and analyze your areas of opportunity. And once you do that, and you say, hey, you know what? This is what's been working for me. Keep on doing it. Maybe refine it a little bit, but keep on doing it. And then those areas that are not working for you, that you still need to grow in and develop, embrace them and nurture them. Okay? Whatever you need to do to make yourself better in those areas. Right? Whether it's meeting people, whether it's speaking in public, whether it's writing or reading, embrace it. And once you get that down, reapply. Okay, the same old wash and rinse cycle. You take the success that you've had, you build upon that, and then you reapply. Take that new level of success, build upon it, and reapply. And what's going to happen, the feeling that you're going to get when you get that sense of accomplishment and that boost in confidence, the feeling is going to be immeasurable. Right? And bear with me for a minute here. I want you to do something, please, if you don't mind. Just bear with me. I want you to think back to the first time that you rode a bike without training wheels. Okay? Or the first swimming lesson that you took. Okay? By yourself. Think about this. Now, most of us were probably a little scared. I know I was. Okay, when I used to live in Germany, that's where that's where I went to school at when I was a kid. My dad was in the military, so I was a good old military brat, and I was very fortunate and very blessed to kind of have some experiences like that. And I was actually at Hahn Air Force Base. This is where I went to school, and I remember oh man, getting into that water was killer. But the one thing I thought, though, man, was just, can I do it? I was scared. Now, I even remember when my dad, actually, when we lived in South Carolina, actually, too, near Myrtle Beach. We're in a trailer park there. And I remember when he had me on a bike, and he was trying to teach me how to ride, and I had the training wheels and everything on. And, dude, I can tell you, folks, I was scared out of my mind, okay? I know I wasn't the only one. And I know we all had those scrapes and bruises that we went through when we were trying to ride that bike, or when we were trying to learn how to swim, we just sank right onto the bottom like a ton of bricks. Okay, more sinking than swimming we probably did. And maybe that first time for a lot of us was just simply horrible and frightening. But I want you to take just a moment. Once you've had that memory kind of in your mind right now, I want you to take a moment and fast forward right now to when you finally rode that bike without anyone helping you at all. Right? I remember my dad, he was pushing me, and he would just push me and then run right alongside me, to make sure I didn't fall over. And obviously, he couldn't always catch me. He tried his best, but you get wobbly and weebly with that bike, and sometimes you just lose control. It's just going to happen. But I remember when we were on that road, and as a matter of fact, I was right by the school where I went to school at, by the trailer park. I remember when he let me go, I was screaming my head off. My God, Daddy, I'm doing it, Dad, I'm doing it. And he was just cheering himself on too. I couldn't see behind me, but I can imagine the man was probably crying his eyes out, respectively speaking, just that one little teardrop maybe coming down. But the feeling, it was just so amazing that I did it by myself. Okay, I did it by myself. What about that time when you finally swam across the end of the pool? Your legs, the arms just flailing around frantically, spitting up water wherever it was. But you did it. You did it. No floaties and no help. Okay, you did it. From one end of the pool to the other. Non-stop and unaided. I can tell you this. I bet you that feeling was incredible. I bet you felt all jubilant inside, right? All jubilant and happy and all excited. Just the feeling which is so exhilarating. The question is, was it worth it? All the pain, the sweat, the blood and tears, everything that you went through, right? The fear that you're going to drown, even though you've got like 20 people sitting here trying to help you stay afloat, right? You think that, oh my God, I'm going to drown, right? You're riding your bike, just a little bit of asphalt, a little bit of grass, but you're a kid. You think, oh my God, I hit that, I'm going to die. Was it worth it? That's the question. Of course it was. Okay, of course it was worth it. Remember, folks, it's a process. You got to challenge yourself. You got to work outside of your comfort zone. Okay, the more you do it, the better you'll become, and the more valuable leader you're going to become to others. Because if you don't develop yourself and grow as a leader, you're not going to be any use to anybody, especially yourself and others. Especially yourself, because you're not going to have any level of success, and you can't transcend that on to other people. Think about this. Think about where we are now, technologically speaking. Okay. If Nikola Tesla had the support, and if you don't like Nikola Tesla, whatever, that's fine. This is going to go out then to all my Tesla lovers. Okay. Let's look at the light bulbs that we're starting to use now. Right? Not the ones filled with filament. I'm talking about the other ones. designed by Nikola Tesla. His original design. Let's look at electric cars. Designed by who? Yep, Nikola Tesla. Okay. Let's also take a look at wireless energy. Right. I don't know if you folks know this. I don't know if it's caught on mainstream. I don't think it has yet. But they've got those plug-free chargers now, right, for like your cell phones and maybe some other devices. And you basically just have this pad you put the device onto, and it charges. You think about that, right? If Nikola Tesla did not continue to try to develop himself and grow as a person and try out these things and get outside of his comfort zone, I don't know where these ideas would be right now. Think about what it took for us to fathom moving our bodies with whatever propellant from the Earth into space to the moon. Hovering right now, we're in orbit right now in a space station. It's amazing. Don't be afraid of success, and don't be afraid to challenge yourself. The only way you're going to grow is to overcome those challenges. I know you can do it, and I believe in you. Okay? So whatever it is, I mean, and for me, it's reading. Okay? That's been my bane. That's been my Achilles heel. I would recommend some really good books that are out there. Let's see, The 5 Love Languages is a good book to read. Believe it or not, it's more than what you think it is. Okay? But I think it can really, really help out in a lot of areas. Success with People is another good book. The Magic of Thinking Big. The Magic of Thinking Big. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Positive Personality Profiles is another good one. If you have issues with speaking publicly, get over it. Don't want that to come across harsh, by no means. But I want you to have that mindset and tell yourself, get over it. It's just people I'm speaking with. Okay, if it's an issue of meeting people, get over it. It's nothing. They're people just like you. They're probably more nervous of talking to you than you are to them. Okay, whatever those obstacles are, folks, I really want you to embrace them and just overcome them. Okay, I know you can do it. I really know you can. And make yourself a better person and a better leader. Okay? Thank you for watching. Many blessings to you, and I'll see you all in the next video.
I don't quit, no, I just press harder than I ever did before. Going for the dream that I have in store in my mind. Cause I know that I'm making it. I gotta get mine and nobody's taking it away. No, cause Hammer don't play that. You try to get mine, boy, you better step back, freeze. Cause you don't want none. I hustle for my muscle and you look weak, son. Yeah, I'm going for all that I can get. Kicking it at the top because I'm too legit to quit saying. Too legit.